2414 is a podcast about finding hope and common ground through casual conversation. Like the friends on the road in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 24, verse 14, we want to walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. Thanks for walking with us.
Hey, welcome to 2414. My name's Dan. That's Shane. This is Hannah. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. We are a podcast that is not known for its great substance. We don't have deep thoughts necessarily. Maybe we do. But we're just talking about real life. And I think as we talk through things of real life, depth and substance and things that matter come up, because that's how real life is. A lot of real life is real boring, and there's parts that are silly and parts that are difficult, and the things that matter are just sort of embedded in that. So we're in a series right now called The Games We Play. We're looking at tabletop games, which includes card games and dice and board games. And Hannah Hileman is here today. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Oh, my goodness. And Hannah's going to share her wisdom and experience and talk some smack about how she beats her family members.
Definitely.
Because they are not at the table and she can say whatever she wants. But before we get to that, highs and lows. A high is something that's going well, low is something that's going not so well. I was at a local elementary school last week, and we were talking about traditions, and they said, Mr. Dan, do you have any traditions? And I said, well, we do highs and lows a lot, and I described it, and they go, that's like peaks and pits. So they call it peaks and pits. Huh. So peaks and pits is fun too. Happy, crappy, highs, lows. So we'll share a high or a low or both. And then the question of the day, Shane Wilter, is what are you currently watching? Maybe it's a movie you have on pause or a series you're engaging between episodes. So a low, a high, what are you watching these days? And if it's multiple things, that's allowed too. You want to kick us off, Shane?
Yeah, I can do that. All right. I'll start with it's a low high hybrid. As in,
he's not good at this.
Thanks.
There's two options, high and low. Both.
So I'll explain. All right. So low thing, kind of. Low is Lauren and I still don't have her car back yet after months of not having it. But the high is we're kind of like in dispute with the warranty company and the repair shop. But those two people finally came to an agreement that worked for our benefit.
Okay.
So that's good. So we don't have to pay $6 jillion.
Oh, awesome.
We think. We haven't seen like the number yet, but they are kind of walking through the process with us. But with that, we still have to wait for the car to kind of be repaired now that it's finally like approved. So
congratulations.
That's good. Thank you.
Yay.
So it feels good to like have it like a winning battle. At least now.
I thought your high was going to be, we don't have Lauren's car, but we get to spend a lot of quality time together, but that wasn't your high.
That's a cheesy high, but it's true, but
now you have to say it because he said it.
Yeah.
It goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I said it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. No. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, other high, Lauren and I are just kind of in a good groove routine of like working out, and that feels good to have like a good routine in life that isn't like go home and watch 20 hours of YouTube.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, sometimes it is, but yeah, we're in a good routine.
What's your go-to workout thing right now?
Good rotates. We're just doing
like
a lot
bench
of
press.
Well, it rotates, so like
it depends on the day.
All right, what was yesterday or what's today?
Yesterday was leg day, so that's why I was hobbling around everywhere.
Do you do like arm, ab, leg split, or do you do like push, pull, leg?
It's kind of like legs, maybe just once a week or once every 2 weeks, because it's not fun.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah. So
all right, leg day. That's a good high.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So all that. And how the
what are you currently watching?
What am I? So Lauren and I just kind of wrapped up a season. You've probably never heard of it. It's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
I've heard of it.
Yes. So we just finished season 4 or something. They were in Italy. It's an anime, and they were.
Okay.
It's very over the top and like just dumb, but that's what kind of makes it entertaining and fun. So, well, we were
JoJo's Wild Adventures.
Bizarre.
Is this appropriate for all ages? Okay.
No. It's kind of it's weird, but yeah, it's very entertaining. We just finished the season, so before jumping to the next season, we're kind of filling that time with just some kind of easier to watch shows. We're kind of watching Futurama right now.
Okay.
I like Futurama.
It's great.
A lot of animated silliness at the Welter house.
I love animated TV shows. Okay. So that's me.
Cool.
Yeah, how about you, PD?
Oh, let me think. Lowe's. First two that come to mind. I've been missing my mom this week, so it's been just sad. She died at the end of May, Memorial Day weekend, and her birthday was 2 weeks ago. And I just kind of woke up a couple of days this week, like feeling that. Other low, just spread thin, running around trying to get it all done. Again, it sounds like it doesn't even need to be worth like saying because everyone seems like they're too busy, and I don't think I'm over a schedule that we don't have too many commitments, but boy, it's every night is something. It seems like every day is something.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a thing. A couple highs. One is my youngest had his birthday a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned this on the episode last time that
I forgot to say this.
He got two things. One is he got a board game from my dad, his grandpa, tabletop game called Above and Below, which has been super fun, and so a lot of good time playing with that. I lost the first game to my 8-year-old. I thought I was going to crush him, and I went in so cocky. I was like, all right, I got to teach him how to play it well, and if I make mistakes and blunders, I'm going to teach him, bad habits. So I got to crush him in the name of being a good parent. So, of course. Because if I can destroy him appropriately, not only will he have humility, but he'll learn to play the game the right way. So I showed up ready to crush, and I got owned. I got utterly dominated.
Oh, no.
So that was a proud moment. Also, I've gone undefeated since then, so that feels good too.
You just went.
It was like,
but
it's on.
The first
I did.
one.
I lost, and then it was like the movie Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie with Sylvester Stallone. You guys are all too young for that. No. He turns his hat around like from the front to the back, and like, oh, it's serious now. Like that happened. I flipped the switch, and it's go time. I
find it just funny. You lose the first game, and it's just like. All bets ankle weights are off. I'm going 100%.
I'm going to make somebody cry before this is over.
You'll never win again.
Yeah, I'm going to send somebody into bed with tears. So that's a high. And then the other high is Shane and Lauren, for my youngest's birthday, agreed to take him on a 4-hour Pokemon Go expedition.
Oh, fun.
So I got my phone totally charged, sent him with an external battery, some cash for dinner, and then just released him into Shane and Lauren's care. And he had the best day ever. It was the best birthday present he got. Thank you, Grandma, Grandpa, and aunts and uncles, and all the other, my other brother, like he gives like a $200 gift thing for classes later in life. Thanks, Uncle Mike, you're awesome. But Titus immediately forgot about the money for piano lessons, and he got to play Pokemon Go with Shane for a day. So that's where it's at.
I think I still have Pokemon Go downloaded on my phone from high school.
Yes. If you have any cards you don't want anymore, the Weber house would receive them.
I never got any cards growing up, so.
Then never mind. All right. Well, what we're currently watching right now is we watched the first season, and then we took apparently 7 seasons off, and so we're now. I'm about to tell you. Yeah, hold on.
Anticipation.
You got to build it up here, like my kids. Of what? I'm getting there. I usually get somewhere. We watched the first season, and then we skipped the next 7. So we're currently on season 8 of Alone. Alone is this reality show of sorts where there are 10 contestants. They each get loaded with several cameras and 10 items, and then they get drop them off in the wilderness in British Columbia, Canada.
I've seen
and it's like, who can live the longest and not get eaten by a grizzly bear or die of dysentery? It's like Oregon Trail in real life.
Do they actually die in the show?
I don't think so, but it's come close. There are real life grizzly bears. There are people swimming in this frigid lake.
Is there a cameraman?
They are their own cameramans.
Okay, that's cool.
So they're setting up, and there are off camera, there are medical people who show up and replace the batteries and weigh it, man. I know it's kind of lame, but it's things like Dave has lost 40% of his body weight since day one. It's like, jeepers creepers. And like their cheeks are like, they're all caved in, and somebody will eat some. I thought it was this mushroom, but it was this other kind, and they're just retching off camera. So I'm loving it. Wait, that's an hour.
27 seasons?
No, 7. I think we're on season 8.
Oh, okay.
There's 4 contestants left, and none of them are doing well. And one guy's lost, I think, 75 pounds since he started. He's gone like 3 weeks without eating anything besides like random berries and mushrooms. So it makes me like, by the way, we're watching this, just eating nachos, just sitting on the couch, like licking salsa off my shirt because I missed things.
Looking at it like, I could do that.
Yeah, I could totally do this. I got a beer over here and salsa. I'm like, can you get some ice cream while you're up?
So Dan loves to watch people suffer. Okay.
Yeah. So, and every day's leg day for me because I run, and that's my own self-suffering.
Oh, okay. So every day suffering.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's one of my friend's like favorite shows.
Alone?
He's the type of person who's saying like, I could go out and do that. Like I think he's tried to get on it.
No,
and he's not the type of person who
he wants to be.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I would die within a couple of days or tap. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hannah Hileman, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How about a low and or a high? You can combine them clearly if you'd like. And what are you watching these days?
I would say low is work has been pretty stressful this past week. I work at a school, and I work one-on-one with a special needs kid every day.
The same child each day?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's the beginning of the year, and so everybody is kind of inconsistent, and the schedule's not the same, and so it can get really difficult throughout the day when we get to the second half of the day where they have like 4 hours of no recess or anything. It's just working. So that would be my low, is just dealing with.
Hard. How old is your student?
Second grade.
Second grade.
So
okay.
7.
Little good.
Yeah. And it was somebody I was with them at the end of the year last year.
Cool.
Because I started working in the school district last year. So it's the same kid, which is nice, but can be difficult. And then originally it was supposed to be me and my mom, and then we were talking about like maybe seeing if my dad could come, but she's not feeling great, so that's kind of low. And then he hurt his leg a couple days ago, and it's been
You
rough.
mean come on the show today? You're going to have mom here. Mom's sick. So we have an empty chair in honor of Ruth.
Yes.
Moment of silence, please. There we go. And then Dad.
Good enough.
Good enough. We love you, Ruth. And then Dad hurt his leg. So I'm sorry to hear both of those things.
Kind of dealing with that and trying to help out with them while trying to also come home from a long day at work. But if they need help, I can help them. Might as well do it. And then I would say high is also school has started. Yay. So I get to go back to work and like spend time with these wonderful kids. And like sometimes you get to go in and you see them do things and you're like, I never would have even thought to do that. And that's really smart. Or like they have this thing called the 4 B's. So it's be respectful, be responsible, be safe, and be empathetic. And they can get
that's a big word.
A little paper that's like a hooray, because our mascot is the owls.
I thought you were going to say the Who's. No. Like Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss Elementary School. Oh, the Who. Yeah. All right.
And so sometimes these kids get them for like the nicest things. Like if a kid's struggling at PE, they'll go up and like everybody will cheer them on and say, you can do it. Or like if somebody falls, they'll go help them. And so it's really nice to see how these kids do this and they're not necessarily expecting something back from it.
Yeah.
Just every day.
That's really cool.
And then right now I just finished. I got into anime like a year and a half ago.
Yes.
I just finished season 2 of Demon Slayer.
I've watched
Demon
whatever's
Slayer.
on Netflix. That's how much I've watched. So I think it's season 1.
Season 2's on Hulu.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
about Netflix.
Okay.
But it's a very entertaining show. It's probably not appropriate for all ages.
It's
about slaying demons.
But yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I watched like the entire season in like one day. I watched it like right before we got back to school, so it was great. And then right now I'm currently still watching Naruto. I started watching it for the first time like halfway through last year.
Have you gotten to Shippuden yet?
Yes, I'm like
All right.
4 seasons in.
So some of our listeners right now are like, yes, I love that show. For those of you who have no idea what's going on, I also have no idea what's going on.
So Naruto is like
Naruto and
a
Shippuden.
classic like anime that a lot of people watch. A lot of kids at the school I work at watch it.
Cool.
So they're like, you know who that is? And I'm like, yes, of course.
You can't see this if you're just listening, but Hannah has a Naruto a tattoo on her.
No, I do not.
Her shoulder.
No.
No. All right, never mind.
But it's pretty entertaining. There's a lot of filler episodes, so it's a good one where if you're
filler episodes.
There's
if you're
so
in
much.
between like fighting scenes, there's a bunch of episodes where it's like a flashback to the first show, and then there's Shippuden is the second show with multiple seasons in it, and then there's like 2 or 3 more after that.
Yeah. Sometimes they just have whole like filler series that don't pertain to the main plot.
I watched like 40 episodes in a row that were just like side quests that they were going on.
Side quest sounds better than filler. Filler sounds like it's worth
It's
it.
basically it's called a filler,
But it
for
never
a reason.
it never ties it back into the story.
It's just like, hey, this happened. Now let's continue with the actual story.
Okay.
So,
But if you avoid that and just watch the main show, Naruto is very entertaining.
yeah.
Okay.
My friends have gone through and watched it.
How do you access
Without
Naruto? Where do you
fillers.
watch this?
I watched it on Hulu.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I think it's on Netflix.
I think just
Some
the
of it's
original.
on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know where else, but those for sure.
All right. Maybe that'll be our next series, Shane. Favorite anime moment in Naruto?
It is
That's the whole.
a
That's
really, really long show.
very. There's like 500 episodes in Shippuden.
Oh my god.
I've watched like 200, and they're like 30 minutes long. So
All right. So we've got 2 or several animated episode series that we may or may not endorse, and 1 show about people starving themselves and avoiding grizzly bears.
Yeah.
So
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. We're actually in a series right now called The Games We Play, talking about tabletop games and how they're part of life and experience life, and just what it's like to play games with other people. Hannah, do you have a current game right now, like a go-to? This is our...
we have 2.
Okay.
We always keep them on the main floor of our house, right next to the kitchen, so that way they're ready anytime. We play cribbage a lot because it's easy. If people don't know, cribbage is a...
Can you... I was going to say, I have never played cribbage. Can you give me
Yes.
if you were teaching me...
in the simplest
And
terms.
it's simple. What's the goal? What's the mechanics? How do you play cribbage?
So there's a board with a bunch of holes in it, and you have pegs and cards.
People like make their homemade cribbage boards.
Yes, people do.
Okay, I see these everywhere.
Because
Okay.
none of us are
Well,
good with
that's
any
okay.
form of wood. But
So it's a piece of wood with like 1,000 tiny holes.
yeah,
and
I
a
think
race
it's
car track.
120.
Okay, I was
something
close.
like that.
So
I don't know
120, and it's like a
exactly.
race car track.
Yes,
looking thing?
it goes
Okay.
around and then up. And so you get dealt hands of cards.
Regular playing cards.
Yes.
Not like bridge cards.
Nope.
One
Any
time,
playing cards you
my
want.
mother-in-law gave us a deck of bridge cards for Christmas, but she didn't know it was bridge cards. So we were like playing cards. Like there's a lot of face cards in this deck.
I don't know if I know what bridge cards are.
It's like all face cards. I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but
My parents play a lot of bridge.
It's different.
learned
It's a different deck?
once, and I never played again.
okay. So regular deck of 52 cards.
Yes. And then you deal them out. Everybody gets 1. Depends on how many people you're playing with, how many cards you get. So if you're playing with 2 people, you get 6 cards. If you're playing with 3 people, you get 5 cards. It's only up to 3 people usually.
And no teams. Just
No.
every person
Well, you
for
could
themselves.
play like in pairs or something like that if you had too many people, but we don't do that.
Okay.
Very competitive. There's no teamwork.
Okay.
And you look at your cards and you discard 1 into a separate pile, and it's called the crib.
Okay.
And then you go through and you play your cards, and the goal is to you go around the circle and everybody plays a card, and you can play, if you play the same card as the person before you, you peg, so you move up.
Okay. So like a set.
Yes.
Okay.
If you play 3 of a kind, you move up even more. So
Okay. So pairs.
a pair is 2 points. 3 of a kind is 6 points.
So you keep the party going, you get more points.
4 of a kind. If you play 4 in a row,
Yeah.
the same card is 12, which is a lot.
Okay.
And then You do that, you go all the way around. Once you're out of cards.
Are there points for like a run as well, like a sequence?
Yeah. So a run of 3 is 3, 4 is 4.
Suited or not suited?
Not suited.
Okay.
Suit doesn't matter when you're playing that portion of it.
Oh, okay.
Different stages.
And then during that, you're also trying to get like a 15. If you play and the cards that you've played in that run add up to 15, you get a move 2. If you get
on top of your other, like if you have the 3 in a row,
then you get, or three in a row, then you move up for both.
Okay.
And then you're also trying to get to 31. And once you hit 31 or as close as you can get to it, if people still have cards, then the next person goes and plays a new card.
Okay.
And then once you've done all of that, then you get to count the points in your hand. And so you're looking for the same thing: pairs, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. So you're
trying to keep and hold on to pairs and sets in addition to playing them on the kind of communal table.
You keep your own cards separated from everyone else. So it's
not what you still have in your hand. It's just of what you've played.
Yeah, so you end up with 4 cards in your hand, no matter what. So everybody counts their cards, and then the person who dealt gets the crib. And so they then get basically an extra hand to count. And so whoever gets to the end first wins. But there's also a line called the Skunk Line.
Skunk Line.
Where if you don't get enough points and you're behind that and somebody finishes, you get skunked.
You got to go do the dishes.
Well, we basically just like, everyone just starts like sniffing the air and like, oh, it smells terrible in here kind of thing. Nice. Very, very competitive.
So is there like an actual penalty, or is it just shaming them?
It's just pure shame.
They have to stand for the rest of the game.
And then there's also
sit on the floor.
A double skunk line. So it's like 90 is like the skunk line and like 70 is the double skunk. So that's like you played awful. One time I beat my dad so badly that I got to 120 and he was at like 50 something. And it's been like a year and he has not lived it down and he will never live it down. So
do you play a certain number of hands or a certain number of, is it just high score wins? You play to a certain number?
You play all the way until somebody finishes. Somebody gets to 120.
So there is a finish line on the track. Okay.
And then our other game is Boggle, which it's over there.
You brought props. This is the third guest who's brought a prop to the show.
It's exciting.
My mom set them on the table and was like, you need to take these with you when you go. And I was like, all right, I will take the board games on the table. Sounds good.
And let me go back to cribbage for a second. That sounds more fun than I would have thought.
It's very competitive.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I
played it and then just wasn't fun.
I've mainly seen. I've never played cribbage. I've never been invited to play cribbage. It seems like something I see at knick-knack shops. Like you go on a vacation and they're like, we also have cribbage boards. And I've incorrectly assumed this is like a retirement home kind of game. And it sounds like a normal card game with a prop to help keep score.
A lot of people think it is kind of like you could say old person
I don't know why I thought that. But that was my thought. But what you described just sounds like any card game I'd ever play. But I have this preconception that cribbage is an old person game.
And if it helps, a lot of times, not right now, but there are plenty of times in my past when I hear people talk about cribbage, and immediately I think croquet. And so it's confusing for a while. I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is the one with pegs. Okay.
Yeah, it's the one with pegs.
Yeah. The other one with pegs, I guess. But like,
not the
card
wickets.
game one.
The card game one.
Yes.
Our next year's will be lawn games. The lawn games we play.
Lawn game.
Croquet, by the way, is a pretty terrible long game. In terms of lawn games, like games you could play out in the yard, I enjoy it, and I usually win, not going to lie, but it feels like it has some defects in the game itself.
Are you also playing your 4-year-old and 5?
Yeah, excuses.
A win's a win, Shane.
But
nobody knows who lost the World Series 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh. But for cribbage, I've only played it once. My brother taught me. A lot of people in the Midwest play it too. And
did you have a standard board, or was like the shape of a whale or anything?
I think it was.
Like it was 29 one.
It was something Wisconsin themed, and I don't remember what it was.
We should find some woodworker who can make a 2414, either the numbers or the talking bubbles cribbage board. Hannah, get on that. Sounds like you're not the person.
I don't know any woodworkers.
All right. Okay, so I'm sorry. So that was cribbage. That sounds more fun than I would have expected. I think I would enjoy that.
Everybody in my family plays it. My oldest brother, he lives like out east. He lives in Maryland, and he's a pastor, and he
Okay.
plays it with his family.
Okay.
So even the kids.
Cool, Josh. I don't know why I feel this need to give a comment on people's games. It's like when you go to a movie theater and there's a preview and somebody's like, I'm not going to watch that one, or that looks awesome. Every time Shane tells me a game, I give him a knee-jerk evaluation of like, thumbs down, sounds dumb, or all right, I'll give that 3 stars out of however many you decide. So Hannah, I'd say, mostly thumbs up. That sounds like I think it'd be fun.
It also depends on who you play with. So
Yeah. So then Boggle's the other game?
yes.
I don't think I've ever played an actual game of Boggle.
I see it like as often as cribbage, but I don't think I've ever actually played it. And I think I know how it's played, but yeah, you explain it. I mean,
When I think of Boggle, though, Hannah, I'll pause and let you speak for a second. My first memory, like idea that comes into mind when I think about Boggle, is Peggy Hill. Peggy Hill was the female lead in the animated series King of the Hill. Hank Hill was the dad. Bobby is the little boy. Bobby, and then Peggy was the mom. And I'm pretty sure she was a competitive Boggle player. You can look that up if you need to.
Okay,
That's my mom, pretty much.
Okay, so I'm merging Ruth Heilman and Peggy Hill in my mind, and so as I picture those things, Hannah's going to tell me how to play Boggle.
Okay, so it's a 4x4 like thing these little dice with letters on them sit in, and you shake it up, and then you put it down, and you take the top off, and you flip the timer, and you try and find as many words as possible in it, and you write them all down until the timer runs out. So
it's not just total anagrams unscrambling. They have to be connected.
They have to touch. You can't reuse letters. So if it's like
within a word.
Yes, within a word.
Okay.
I see. So you can't like loop back around.
No, you can't. Okay. You like keep going around and hitting the same letters over and over again in the same word.
Banana, BANAN.
Yeah, basically. And then once the timer runs out,
pencils down.
We get very like, do you get to finish the word or not? And
No,
we'll argue over
I say
whether
no.
or not
Shane?
you do.
No, I say no.
Well, if I'm writing it, yes, but if they're writing it, no.
Oh, all right.
And then you
comment below. Do you let them finish the word or not?
You go down your list and you read it out to the other people playing.
Okay.
And if they have the same word as you, you cross it off and it doesn't count for anything.
That's like that other game. Not
Categories.
It's like categories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then you go through your whole list. If it's a longer word, you get more points. So if the word is 4 letters or under, it has to be at least 3 letters to be considered a word.
Okay.
So if it's 3 or 4 letters, you get 1 point. If it's 5, you get 2. 6 is 3. 7 is 5 points.
7.
It just goes up.
So everybody's looking at the same Boggle
The same
thing. So they don't have
Boggle
their
thing.
own.
So if you find a word and somebody else finds the same big word as you,
No points.
no points.
That's so defeating.
Even if only one other person finds it.
Yes.
I think if we were playing and Hannah and I found the same word and Shane didn't, I think he should lose points.
Some people play that if you write down a word,
If we both came up with a 7-letter word and you didn't even find the word,
Yeah.
we get nothing.
yeah, -5.
You can't reward yourself for me being stupid.
It's not rewarding us. It's just
Hurting me.
Yeah.
Losing points.
All right, I'm sorry. That was a bit of a side tangent there. Or hypothetically, if I didn't see the word and you and Hannah found it, I think
No, I wouldn't.
there should be some incentive for like if you're crushing it. All right. So I'm picturing a board. It's like a grid. Mm-hmm. So some of the letters probably are sideways. So you have to like adjust your head to see the N and the Z.
I can read letters sideways and upside down, so it's not an issue. But
Can you go diagonal?
yes,
So up and down, left and right, and
diagonal.
So like-
But they have to touch. Either like the side of the dice has to touch, or the corners. If they're not right next to each other, you can't put them together.
Could
Okay.
you cross diagonal?
Yes.
So like,
Ooh,
As long
yeah.
as you don't reuse the dice in that word,
Okay.
and they're touching, it's fine.
okay. So it's pretty forgiving, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
Directions you're going.
We find a lot of words, a ridiculous amount.
Do you play a number of rounds or to a certain number of points or until you're no longer talking to each other?
Depends on the day.
Somebody throws the
sometimes
boggle
we
board.
say like, oh, we'll play until this time, and then we just play until that time. whoever has the most points over whatever number of rounds.
Okay.
Or we'll say like, oh, let's play a couple, and we'll play like 2 if long night or something. We usually don't go for points because sometimes we get really low games and sometimes we get really high games.
Yeah, I can see that.
My mom is very good at finding every word that's ever existed. She's like a human dictionary.
Do you have an agreed upon dictionary on the table?
Scrabble dictionary.
Standard
I look it up
Scrabble
on my
dictionary.
phone.
Okay.
They make me look up
So no
their
proper
words.
nouns.
So
But you can use the weird words that nobody ever uses, like
yes,
whatever.
yes. My mom knows all of them.
So
I'll be
Scrabble
like,
dictionary.
what is that word? And she'll be like, oh, it's something that these people used in the past for this purpose.
Oh my!
Are
So
there-
she actually knows like
Yes.
Are there rules around challenging? Like if I challenge and I was wrong, am I penalized?
No.
All right, I'd be
so
challenging
you
all
could
over the
challenge
place.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And what if you make up a word and I call you out on it? You just don't get credit. I think you should lose more points.
Some people play where if you write down a word that's not a real word,
The whole round,
whatever
scratch.
No, whatever points you were supposed to get for that, you get that, but negative.
I like it.
I like that.
Which
like
we
that.
don't play.
Oh,
But my dad is
For
the person
sure.
who would just be like, that looks like a word. But
For
he
sure.
also will find everything that has an add-on at the end. So there's an S on the board or an ER or an ED or an ING. He will get all of those words.
He's just making up words.
I would-
Boxing.
I would do that.
We have a lot of like small words that every small word you see next to like an ER, you just add ER onto the end and hope that it's a word.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boggle. And it's
Boggler.
4x4, 5x5. What is it?
4x4, I think.
That seems pretty small. And I realize it's 4 feet away and you can't reach it with your headphones. Actually, you got some give in the headphones. You could probably get over there.
Looks 4x4.
But if you rip this microphone off the table, you will never invite you back to the podcast recording again. So, all right, we got Boggle. All right, here, the official Boggle board here. It is brought to you by Parker Brothers. It's the hidden word game. This particular edition looks like it's from 1973.
Yeah, we have a lot of
This
old
is
games.
this has been around.
So
And it is 4x4 for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 to adult. I bet if they made this game today, it'd say like ages 14 and up.
oh yeah.
Like you, in the 70s, people
Yeah.
didn't choke on these things, and they were smarter and knew more
They
words.
didn't choke on.
Yeah, I think liability has gone up and education has gone down, and I bet this is marketed to a different age at this point.
Yeah.
We have like our old, like if we use like scrap paper, and so if it's not fully filled to the edges, we just keep using it. So there's a bunch of like old ones in there.
And you have 2/3 of the original timer here.
There's the other parts in there, but it's not worth trying to turn over when they like both sides of the timer separate off. So yeah.
And so for the spell, this is my big thing. I'm terrible at spelling and just words and speaking in general. But for words, for just like spell, like do you guys go through every word? Like is that like you can just challenge? Like you spelled it wrong.
Well,
same thing.
We
like
play pretty like we play at our kitchen table 90% of the time, and then so you can kind of see the other people's papers. And
Okay.
My mom is really good at spelling, and I'm really good at spelling. My dad is hit or miss sometimes. He'll be like, "I know this is a word, but I don't know if I spelled it right," and he'll be like, "Okay, this isn't a word. I'm going to cross it off." So we're all pretty
Okay.
like, if it's not spelled right, it doesn't count.
so there's a pretty good trust system.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and make a decision without talking to anyone else at the table that we're going to play this after our episode today as our bonus episode. And if you're just joining our series, the games we play, our intention is to have some bonus episodes where we're experimenting and playing with these games. If you've watched one of those, you may realize we have some work to do on our production and editing quality and the camera angle. No, you're okay, Shane. I said
Your
we.
one job.
I didn't say it was Shane's fault. People can figure out who they want to blame.
Okay.
But we'll try to get at least like a camera shot of the letters so we can post it up on the screen as well so people can see. We'll see how that works. Shane's looking at me like this is so much work. Stop saying we're going to do these things.
You have to do the spelling now.
But I'm looking forward to playing a round of Boggle.
Spell to produce. Oh,
This sounds like a fun game. I'm excited. So Hannah, who usually wins? Your mom, it sounds like?
Sometimes.
Sounds like Dad's relying heavily on ER and S.
He usually gets like everyone on the board though. So a lot of times for the most part, we're pretty close. She's really good at every word in existence. He's really good at adding stuff onto the end of them. I tend to find some of the bigger words that neither of them notice. So I try and skip like all the little words that I know that they'll cancel each other out on.
Okay.
I have a strategy. It's just no little words, takes too much time. I'm only finding the big words because they're worth more points.
Yeah, this looks really hard.
I would just be finding small
Just
words.
looking at the example on the cover, Shane, I'm not sure we'd get a whole lot of words.
Oh, these are letters?
Yeah, those are English letters, standard letters. So, Hannah, when you play games, I've gotten the sense there's a certain competitiveness maybe throughout the house.
Oh, yeah, the whole family, even the people that don't live with us.
Okay, so how often are games happening at your place? Or do you go elsewhere for games? Where
we
what's the
normally
setting?
play at our house, and it's normally just me and my parents. But if we have people visiting or stuff like that, like family members, they'll sometimes play too. We have a large closet in our house packed with games head to toe, all these random games and a bunch that probably like stopped being produced like before I was born.
Okay.
Mainly our house. Yeah. My brother plays games, but both of my brothers play games, but they don't usually come to our house to play games. The first time actually my boyfriend met my parents was a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. And he came over for the first time and they made him play a board game with them. Well, I kind of made him play the board
show
game.
your true colors. Like, let's get it on the table.
And they made him play Quelf.
Yeah.
I've never played this game. Shane
Dan
gets
will
really
play
excited.
It.
This
You
is
do?
Have it.
This is the Cranium spinoff. No.
No, it's just a game of pure random. But there's like legitimate, like you got to be good at it, like too. Like there's legitimate strategy to the chaos.
I would not like that as a first impression meeting people.
It very much so broke the ice because one of they're like rules you have to follow, like you as a person, and then like a table rule, and they can get replaced when you draw new cards. But one of his rules was like every time you talk, you have to have a hand on each shoulder and a thumb in your mouth.
Hand on each shoulder and one thumb in your mouth when you talk.
And it was his first time
Just
meeting
for
them,
the
and he
evening?
was so nervous.
Just all night?
While you're playing the game.
How about them Cardinals? Hey,
Yeah.
my.
And I remember one where it was you have to end each, like until you get a new card that cancels this out, you have to end every sentence as a question.
Yes.
And so you're like, I think it's this, maybe? Or like you just like
We had one where it was everything you said you had to sound like a pirate.
oh yeah. And it's like sometimes there's like universal rules, and if somebody doesn't do it, you have to move back.
Yeah, you move back spaces if someone catches you not following the rule.
Okay. Anybody listening, if you're thinking about what can you get Pastor Dan for Christmas present or my birthday in a few weeks, probably not Quelf.
Quelf.
I might play it with you once, but even there, maybe not. Maybe not.
It'll happen.
Does it ever get uncomfortably competitive?
At my house,
Yeah.
playing games?
Anything,
Not with
yeah.
Quelf.
No,
but
yeah, just with Boggle or
occasionally.
Dad ever smash the board against the wall?
No, we are a very competitive family, though. And so, like, we play, one of my dad's favorites is Catan.
Okay.
And we started playing it like right when it came out. So we got really good pretty fast. And my dad and I are much more competitive than my mom is. And so sometimes
she has her own strengths.
She's a casualty in the competitiveness, where she's like, that doesn't even help you. You did that just to block me. And he's like, yes, I did. That's how you play the game.
That's how Shane plays Ticket to Ride. Shane will just ruin somebody's day because he can.
Sometimes you gotta.
I don't like Ticket to Ride. That's the one game I won't play that we have.
What? Is that's the bottom, or like, or is there like that's the one game, or do you have other games?
I was going to ask, are there games that you would either not play or prefer to not play? That one's a no. That's a hard no.
For most games, I'm like, hey, if everybody wants to play it, like, whatever, we can play a couple rounds. I'm not going to sit here and play it for hours if it's not my favorite.
But what game are you going to vote against? Kind of regardless of who they're. Yeah, but what's another one? Okay, so that's just a no. Like, you're not playing.
That's the only game that I just like will not play.
Okay,
What's the Oh, sorry. Well, what's the history? Like, there's always a reason behind it. Like,
we got it a long time ago, and I never really got into it, and I feel like it takes forever to play, and I haven't played in years because
Maybe
I
you'd
played
love
it.
It's like vegetables.
I played it for like a year because my parents liked it, and then I haven't played it since because I was just like, not a big fan. I don't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Ticket to Ride spin-offs different, or are they just different continents?
Never played.
Because there's a bunch.
Never
We
played
have
There's-
Europe.
Yeah, there's several spin-offs.
Maybe
I
that's
think.
why you don't like it.
That's the
'cause
only
you
one we
only
have.
played the Europe version.
I just at the concept.
We've got the USA. Is that
Same
the
here.
original?
That's a U.S. one.
Okay. Yeah, we've got the American, North American one.
Yeah. Like some Canada's in it.
Yeah, it might have. I
Vancouver.
think Vancouver, maybe Winnipeg or something like that.
Mhm.
Hey, there's some Canadian cities. So not Ticket to Ride.
No,
Okay.
never.
But are there any other ones that were?
I'm pretty I like playing most games. Like we have a large variety, so we usually have a few like consistent ones where it's like this is easy to play. We all know how to play it really well. We'll just play it like Boggle or Cribbage or Catan if we have a little more time.
So do you keep there's probably more options. At our house, we often have a game that's just out and it kind of lives on the table, and when we have a moment we want to play a game, we just grab that game, and then we have the archives of, like you described, a closet of all your old games. Do you go spelunking in the closet regularly, or do you just kind of have like your favorite ones are sort of more accessible? Because my experience is we have the one we play and I forget about the other ones, and then we'll dig one out and I'm like, I love this game, why don't we play this is awesome, and I forget that we have those.
We keep Boggle and Cribbage on our main floor, and then the game closet is in the basement of our house. But it's not just like, oh, I open the door and
It
there's
is
some
the
shelves.
basement.
It's like a little walk-in room, and there's shelves all the way up to the ceiling. We have big games down on the ground. We have stuff stacked like 4 games deep on every shelf.
Okay.
So they're all visible, so you can see the titles on the side and grab them. There's a few favorites that are pretty consistent, but every once in a while we'll just be like, all right, it's your turn to pick a game. I don't want to pick one. And so you go down in the closet and pick whatever game you want.
Yeah. Shane, what about you? Do you have a game that's just out, or are they all out of sight? Or are they visible from your dining room table? What's your game storage like?
They're all out of sight. We just have like a coat closet when you come in, and then in that closet is where all the games are. So you have to kind of make the effort to find games or to see it or to be reminded of them.
That's how it was for me growing up. I remember Risk and Monopoly, like either on the top, like just shoved away in the closet, and the box was smashed. And at some point, like you got
Probably me. I destroyed your Monopoly.
Yeah. You got one game out, and like you open the other one, you didn't realize it, and so the pieces are just spilling out into the hidden recesses of the wardrobe.
It does remind me, like in my childhood, sometimes my siblings and I would like grab a game, like, what is this game? Let's grab it. We grab it from the closet, try to play it, realize half of the cards or pieces are missing. We're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
So we never play it again. But yeah, our games aren't in view.
Okay.
It
Is that
probably
on
would
purpose?
No, it's just because
Just pragmatics. That's how it works.
the only place where they kind of logically make sense, like in our setup.
Most of ours are out. So we've got a dining room. So we've got our normal kitchen table. We also happen to have a dining room table. So there's usually a box on the dining room table. But from our living room where the couches are, we have like bookcases. Like they are bookcases. They're not like bookcases. They are bookcases that do not have books on them. They are stacked with board games. So it's very prominent in our home. There's probably more board games visible than pictures of our children. I mean, there are probably not. Yeah, there are. You can
Guaranteed.
See, yeah, if you're eating dinner at my house or sitting on the couch, you can see more about the games we play than any family member or memory that we've had together.
Yeah.
I have never really thought about that till right now. I'm not sure if that's convicting or if I'm proud of that. I think I'm proud of that. I mean, I love my family, but I love that we value games too.
Yeah, I think there's always more games than, I don't know, portraits.
Have you ever played Codenames?
I think we have it. I don't know if I've played it. It was a long time ago.
I played for the first time last week. Didn't do very well.
Oh.
But I had a lot of fun.
We did neutral Everybody tied.
I felt very nervous. I felt insecure the whole time.
I felt nervous with a camera on me. Yeah,
it does change the dynamics.
Yeah,
like if we do this word game in a few minutes, and the world gets to see how many more words Hannah knows than you and me combined.
The words are going to see Shane, the world is going to see Shane cry.
The words are going to see you cry.
Those two.
At 24:14 first, Shane cries live on the air. Stay tuned for the podcast. Stay tuned for the bonus episode where we can watch Shane whimper.
Put that as the cover picture on the video.
That's our,
Why are you crying, Shane?
That's our clickbait. Don't worry.
Why is Shane crying?
Got the word cat and it. I don't know.
Words
It
are hard.
doesn't count. It has to
Got
be
1
3
point.
letters.
Yeah, you lose a point for trying to sneak in it.
But I was talking about closets and like where we stored games and whatnot. Most of the time you play games, is that just at home? Parents?
Yeah, for the most part. If I go visit my oldest brother, I'll play games with him and his kids.
Okay.
My friends and I play games, but like we're very fluid on whose house we're going to or what we're going to do. So usually somebody has like a deck of Uno in their car and somebody has like a poker set in their car. And that's usually our like go-tos.
Yeah. So you don't exclusively only play at home?
No, but for the most part.
Yeah, but most of the time.
Yeah.
But so you have like, yeah, you have other people you play with.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still thinking about playing code names last week, and it was
You're just stuck on
yeah. No, so I'm trying to process my experience of that. It was fun, but I think I felt vulnerable or exposed. Of like, if I do this wrong, I'm dumb, and that was an interesting experience. Of I felt like I was in control of either the clues I gave or the guesses I made. And because some games are just random chance and who cares? Like if it's just all like playing war, you can't feel bad about losing in war, and you shouldn't feel good if you won. It's just a dumb game that's pure random.
There's no strategy. Why are
there's
we playing?
nothing to it. And in the other games, like your ability to succeed or fail is just dependent on you. Like how good are you at this, or how smart are you, and that could be, or how willing are you to be silly. So whatever your Quelf game is, I don't know that I'm that comfortable being that exposed in many settings, and so I don't know that I would enjoy that. And games that are random, I also don't care if I lose because it's just random. Who cares? But games where it's skill, then I feel that pressure more of I want to win. And if I won, it's because I'm awesome. And if I lose, it's because the game is dumb.
Yeah.
Just thinking a lot about how I experience playing games.
So Dan likes games you like to win. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, but that sounds bad too. Of like, hey, you guys want to play a game that I'll probably win?
Well, I feel like that's what happens.
That's what we do.
That's what I'm doing with my kids right now. I'm just flexing on them while I can.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm trying to grow in comfort of playing games that wouldn't be my first choice. But also, I don't need to do things I'm not comfortable with. I can just find people who want to play games I want to play with. That's kind of what I heard last week with Tyler a little bit of. There's some flexibility in his game group, but also he's got a group of people who like similar kinds of games. Mm-hmm. I kind of hear that with your family a little bit. Like there's some flexibility, but also you just sort of naturally like the same kind of games.
There's a few games that we play that either my mom or my dad will not play also. So definitely what
does dad not play?
My dad, there's this game called Dice Capades.
Oh, I've heard of it, but I don't.
And it's a bunch of like random dice.
Are they different size dice?
Different size.
Yeah,
There's some that have shapes on them, pictures. There's some that have like a big dice with a little die inside of it. Yeah. And then it's kind of similar to Quelf, where you get like random cards and you have to do this based on whatever the card says. So it'll be like, oh, you need to stand on 1 foot, balance, and stack 6 of the mini dice on top of each other.
Yes.
My dad hates this game.
Okay.
Like, will not play it. If I say, well, let's play it. No, I will play anything but that game.
Okay.
So, my mom is not a fan of some of the more competitive strategy, like one-on-one type of games.
Okay. Like chess.
What's an example of strategy?
We actually have a game called Stratego. I haven't played for a while, but I used to play a lot with my dad.
Shane's face is glowing right now. If you're just listening on the audio, it looks like a little boy at Christmas morning. Like,
I made Lauren put that on her wedding registry. I
have that game. I played that game. But I used to really like it, and so that was one of our like focus games for a while. And my mom was just not a big fan of it. It's very like, there's no teamwork. There's no like, it's all like, I'm doing this on purpose to hurt your chances of winning and help my own.
Yeah.
And she's like, we could play nicely. And I'm like, no, I'm going to win.
The objective is to beat the other person. It's 1-on-1. Yeah. It's strategic. Oh my, it's like chess, but you don't have to worry about all the algorithms or whatever you do when you play chess. All the strat, like the strat, you set your side of the board. It's like chess in a sense where you place where your strongest pieces are, and it's.
Is this with white and black stones or white and black pieces?
It's
no,
like
I think that sounds like Othello.
Oh, Othello, that's something.
That sit up.
Yeah, so like
have different like roles.
Yeah, so it's just a number. It's just like you have pieces with either a 1 or a 10 on them. 10 are your strongest, 1 is your weakest. And then there's a flag. And you win when one of your pieces touches the other person's flag.
All right.
But the strategy of the game, you decide where your numbers are going to land, or like where
you set them all up wherever you want.
All right.
And so in whatever order.
The strategy is how you set them up. So
helps to know how the other person's going to play when you play it. So you can say, okay, I know you normally like to just rush in. So there's like a bomb piece, I think.
There is
you
a bomb.
You can put them in like specific spots to be like, I know you're going to try this, so I'll do this to counter that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So some strategy might be implied by
Too
the
much
name a little
thinking
bit.
ahead.
Yeah. And I could see where it's not fun and like that. It's just it takes a while to set up, to plan, and then to either win or get decimated.
Yeah.
I as I'm thinking about today's conversation, I've got one observation, and I want to ask you the same question, Hannah, and Shane. I guess I could ask you as well too.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about tabletop games, has this led you to want to play a certain kind of game next? So I'll speak for myself. Maybe I'm tired right now. End of the day, been a long couple of days this work week.
Yeah.
Like as you described that, I was like, oh, that sounds hard. I think I want to play something like King Domino, where it's like, okay, there's thinking, there's some strategy, but it's a little bit more luck and kind of contained. So if I had to pick what kind of game I want to play right now in this moment, I think I want something pretty light, pretty casual, that moves kind of quickly. Mm-hmm. Hannah, what about you today? After this conversation, after your work day, what kind of game would suit you?
I think I'd probably agree. Not something that's super in depth and like I have to plan every move I'm going to make for the next 10 moves in order to have a chance of winning, but not something that's just like, it's just kind of a fun game. Like there has to be some competitiveness in the middle section there.
So all right. What about you, Shane? What after today's conversation, where you are emotionally, physically, mentally today? What kind of game sounds like a good wrap up to the day?
Yeah, I think we're on the same boat of like something easier. As to what that means, not exactly sure.
So I said I said King Domino. Hannah, you didn't give us a specific game.
I would say probably. Well, with my family, I would say probably Catan.
Catan, okay. Shane, what sounds good to you?
I think I'd probably be in the mood for like just trivia.
Okay.
So it's not strategy. It's just like some kind of Trivial Pursuit or something. Like it's not too much strategy. You just got to know it. So like it's not a lot of thinking in that aspect, even though it's a knowledge game. But it's just like you either know it or you don't. So it's like I don't. But it'd be fun. It'd be fun for me and just like Like I don't have to
see that
plan kind of for it.
Yeah. Cool. Hannah, this has been awesome. I've been fun getting to know you and hearing about your family. And I feel like you honored your parents reasonably well and didn't talk too much trash about either one of them. And yet, I think we got a true, honest assessment of games at the Hileman house. I learned more about cribbage than I ever knew. I'm excited about that. I'm eager to play some Boggle.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to throwing down a little bit here, at least for one round. And
this conversation's made me want to play cribbage.
Okay.
Or just like,
Try it.
Retry it, because I only had one real experience playing it, and so long ago I don't remember. Mm-hmm. And you talking about it honestly doesn't remind me like how exactly like it's fully played. Mm-hmm. But I do like, I see it around enough where like I need to learn some of these staple games, like cribbage. Like it's all over the U.S. Like the U.S. Every state I go, I see cribbage boards all over the place. And
so send us your favorite cribbage board, the track, and they have the Skunk Line and the double Skunk Line. And if you send us a cribbage board, we'll display it up in the podcast room here on the shelf by some of our other games.
Hang it up.
We'll hang it on the wall and give a shout out. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go find the new game. Go dust off an old game. Reach out to a new friend or a familiar friend and say, hey, let's play, and have conversation around it. Cry together, make up afterwards, finish in such a way that they want to talk to you again. It's not all about winning or losing. Yeah, so be kind of nice. Don't cheat. Any other final game advice, Hannah?
Put me on the spot.
My goal is to put people on the spot.
If you're going to play trivia games and you know where they are in advance, do what I did when I was younger, which is go in and read all of the cards in the entire deck.
That contradicts my don't cheat. I just said don't cheat.
It's not cheating if you already know the answers.
All right, comment below. Is it cheating to read the questions and answers before you play a trivia game? Yes. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Yeah.
Shane.
See ya. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Hannah, again.
Thank you.
We'll catch you next time.
Woo! That's the end of the episode, but we want to continue the conversation. Continue the conversation by sharing this episode, subscribing, or leaving a review. Connect with us on Instagram at 2414podcast. Connect with us through email at 2414@stlukes-church.com. Or best of all, keep the conversation going by inviting someone to process with you, so that you can each walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. If you happen to be in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington, stop by on a Sunday morning and say hi. 2414 is a podcast produced by St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Federal Way, Washington. To find more content, discover upcoming opportunities to connect in person, or to support the show, head on over to stlukes-church.com. Thanks for walking with us.